Alright, what's up guys, it's me, David Computes, and today we're back with another video. So guys, the OG members of this channel know that this is my Dell Inspiron 1100. But look here, and I ran Minecraft on this, and I reinstalled its factory Windows XP to it, okay? But look here guys, I never actually did any benchmarks to this thing, okay? I never really did any extensive testing, you know? Yeah, the U key's a bit missing here. In terms of problems this thing has, the U key is missing, and if I turn it back, the hinges are a bit cracked, as you can see. This one also is too, okay? So, yeah. And also, this thing requires two hands to move because of how heavy it is. So yeah. Anyways, the screen that this thing is carrying is a 14-inch 1024 by 768 TFT panel, so not the worst, you know, it's definitely usable. Even by today's standards, okay? I mean, considering, you know, the resolutions of the other laptops I've tested. But yeah, this is a 14-inch 4x3 panel, so it's taller and skinnier. And also this thing is about, it's like about 1.8 inches thick, basically 2 inches thick. It weighs 8 pounds, so do not be expecting to be, you know, able to haul this thing everywhere. And yeah, it is pretty old. It's from 2002. But luckily, since this has a Northwood processor in it, it means that it has SSE2, which also means that it can browse the web. And, you know, yeah, because, like, the other stuff like NXBit or, like, PAE, you don't really need that to browse the web. You just need SSE, okay? So, yeah, this thing has... Let's go ahead and get on with the specs, okay? Alright, so this Dell Inspiron 1100 has 1 GB of DDR 400 MHz dual channel RAM, so it's two 512 meg sticks. And the CPU in it is an Intel Celeron 2 GHz at, you guessed it, 2 GHz. It's 1 core and 1 thread only, so it's pretty slow. The storage is a 30 GB IDE HDD, which is the original hard drive it came with. The GPU, or the iGPU rather, on the motherboard, not the CPU this time, is an Intel Extreme Graphics, okay? Or in other words, Intel i845G, because, you know, it's the name of the chipset, and this is embedded into the chipset, so, yeah. Anyways, some other notes, there's no CPU boost frequency. That is the CPU frequency that you will be dealing with, okay? So, yeah. Pretty for 2003. Alright, well, since we're gone through the specs, let's go and turn this thing on. So, the Celeron 2 GHz in here, it's a Northwood processor, but it's not great. It only has 128K of cache, which, you know, is pretty abysmal. So, yeah, as you can see here, we've got Windows XP Service Pack 3 installed here, and I will get Legacy Update on this. I will. Hopefully sooner than later. But, yeah. So, let's go and talk about the features and quirks of this laptop, okay? So, first off, features. It features a small trackpad. Like, I mean, look at this. Oh, yeah. The speakers are also really good. They're like the thick boombox style speakers, so, yeah. They're pretty decent, and they hold up pretty well. But anyways, this trackpad is actually so tiny. Like, holy crap, this thing is tiny. Look at my mouse compared to it. That's just how tiny it is. But luckily, it features these insanely huge, very comfortable track buttons. I wish we had these on more modern laptops, but unfortunately we don't. Oh, and also, there is no webcam or microphone in this thing. As you can see here, I've gotten fraps. I've got a few games running on here. Morrowind actually does start, although it lags a lot. Yeah, this thing has the Intel Extreme Graphics in here. Pretty sure it's just Extreme, not even Extreme Graphics 2. It's just Intel Extreme Graphics. It is not great, okay? It is not good at all. But yeah, if I go and open up GPU-Z here, this supports this Intel Extreme Graphics. I'm not exactly sure what it supports, because, I mean, it runs DirectX 8 games and can run DirectX 8 mode, but it says it only supports DirectX 7 in some sites, so I don't know. I think it's DirectX 8 compliant, though. But, yeah. So, my Need for Speed doesn't work, unfortunately. Need for Speed Underground. That's because, it keeps coming with an error saying that my CD is bad. Which, yeah, that's unfortunate. But, yeah, I've gotten a lot of games to work on it. Let's go ahead and start off and see how well this thing can browse the web. Remember how I said browse the web? Okay, well, it only supports the web. It doesn't actually do it that well. Many people know. I'll link to the video here. But basically, this video is trying to run YouTube on this thing. Okay, you see, I have a little stopwatch and I see how long it takes to load in YouTube. Oh yeah, I forgot. So another quirk of this laptop, it does not support Wi-Fi. Yeah, so we cannot browse the web in this thing because we need a little adapter thing. Alright, so I've just put in my little TP-Link Wi-Fi dongle, and as you can see here, it does detect Wi-Fi. Local area. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's already in it. Alright. I did have to just blur it out there because, you know, please do not dox me, Windows XP. Okay, there you go. Alright, but anyways, so let's go ahead and see how well this thing browses the web. So yeah, the ports on this laptop aren't that great. It's missing. It only has two USB 2 ports, which, you know, at least they're USB 2, not USB 1.1. So it was one of the first laptops to come with USB 2 actually, which is pretty nice. Because I've never actually used USB 1.1, but I've heard that it maxes out 700 kilobits per second. Why is the trackpad not working? Okay, let's go and see how long it takes to load into YouTube. Yeah, this thing, please update your browser. Shut up. What? Oh yeah, I forgot. This is, so this is MyPal, and sometimes when we watch YouTube this pops up, but if you just type it in again and it'll fix itself. I'm not sure why YouTube says this, because this is a modern version of Firefox, well, modern-ish. But yeah, as you can see here, it's actually loading it now, but it is taking, it's taking its time. Yeah, this is, yeah, let's go and just open up a new tab. Yeah, this thing's 1 gig of RAM really hampers it in its YouTube. Well, honestly, browsing the web abilities. And the slow Celeron doesn't really help it out either, because it takes like minutes to load a single tab. Let's go ahead and load in Google here. I did have to blur that out because that included. Yeah, let's just, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to blur this out as well. Thank you, Google. Just let me get... Yeah, this thing's too slow. We're just gonna fail it right there. It takes minutes to load in tabs. Minutes. So, yeah. Not really great for this laptop. Okay, well, we figured out that I can't browse the web. How does it play games? Well, I mean, you can play later 90s titles and maybe some early 2000s titles, but that's pretty much it. But let's go and see how well it performs in those games in the benchmarks. Starting off here with Minecraft, and we are not doing well. Even with minimum settings, the Inspiron cannot generate or even load a normal world. It just crashes back to the menu and freezes the game. Probably due to our anemic 1 gig of RAM and our lack of any real CPU horsepower. So super flat it is, and in a super flat world with no structures, we are still getting a horrible 9 FPS average with 1% lows of 2, because the game is still stuttering like crazy. So yeah, Minecraft is a complete fail. I don't even think you can play in a super flat world unless it's in creative mode. Next up, we have a much easier game to run. Quake 3, running at medium settings at the native resolution of this laptop, which is 1024 by 768, we are getting a playable 32 frames per second average with 1% lows down to 23. This is caused when you're in a more open or intensive areas. There are definitely some frame drops, you know. You can dip below 23 sometimes, but it's not like unplayably bad. Quake 3 is older than this laptop, being released in 1999, but it is a solid pass for the Inspiron 1100. Morrowind here, running at 640 by 40 lowest settings, and the game is almost playable. Don't get me wrong, the game looks like a tiny window into a game from the 90s, but it's getting on average 21 frames per second and 1% lows of 11. When in towns and cities though, the frame rate drops to the value of our 1% lows, so it's in towns and cities it's not really playable. But in the open world it is very smooth and definitely usable, so Morrowind is barely a pass. On to the next benchmark. Doom 3 here, and the game is running horribly we are only getting an average of 2 FPS and 1% lows of 1. The game is running at its lowest resolution of 640 by 480, but the game is running at ultra settings because the game has no clue how to save the settings. I tried editing the config file, I tried editing using external programs, and I tried several times to fix this, several times with each solution. Nothing works. So it's stuck at ultra settings. Doom is a solid fail, but maybe it could have been a pass if it actually could change its own settings, which is very annoying. But yeah, anyways, on to the next benchmarks. Last benchmark here, we have Half-Life, the original one from 1998, running in 800 by 600 with the direct 3D mode. The game looks pretty decent even with the smaller resolution, but the game runs perfect. This game, the laptop is achieving averages of 34, 1% lows of 25, which is pretty good for this laptop. I tried to run the game at 1024 by 768, which is the laptop's native resolution, but there were too many frame drops, so 800 by 600 it is. This game is very playable and looks decent for a game from 1998. Damn, Half-Life 1 is starting to get really old. A solid pass for the Dell Inspiron, even if this game is from 1998, which is 4 years before the Inspiron was ever a thing. But yeah, solid pass. Alright, so how well does this laptop hold up today? Well, it can play some very early 2000s games and most late 90s games, so yeah, it's okay. But for browsing the web, it is not okay. Like, minutes to load a new tab, and not only that, but some of the tabs won't even load because some sites need advanced instructions, or WebGL, which this thing does not support at all. So yeah, it doesn't really hold up that well these days, but it can play. It's this point it's considered retro. Okay, this point it's pretty retro. All right, but yeah. So yeah, it's not good. It's retro. Okay, let's just say that it's a retro computer. All right. But anyway, so yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and make sure to subscribe. All right, and see you in the next one. Subscribe!